Well, hello everybody. I presume you bought a DSLR, that's why you're looking at the film. Now let's just have a quick look at one. Now all the makes do the same thing basically. There's no make that's better than the other because what's good today will be superseded tomorrow, that's for sure, by someone else. But anyway, let's demystify it a bit. There is no problem using one of these. Looks complicated because they make the menu complicated. The instruction book is impossible to read. Oh, talking about instruction books, this is what I do. I print out mine on A4. That means I can read it much easier. I can read a chapter an evening, get to know the camera very well, try different things. There's one thing you must realize: you can't do anything wrong. All you've got to do, if you get yourself in a mess, is go back and reset all the factory defaults. Very simple to do, just press a button. So that's perfect. It's a great little camera. We'll have a look around it in a second. As I say, they're all the same. They won't have the buttons in the same place, but they'll all have the same capabilities. Don't worry about it, just buy the one that your friend's got and then you can borrow his lenses, that's what I always say. Now, I've got this one mounted with a motor wind underneath. It's a powerful motor wind. It takes 2 batteries. It's got a timer on it, which means I can take pictures from time to time. So it's very heavy and I like a heavy camera. Now, why do I like a heavy camera? Because I look through it like that. It helps if you take that off. I look through it like that, and I look through it over my glasses because I've adjusted the eyepiece to my eyes. A lot of people I see using one of these is holding it at arm's length. No, frankly, it's not made for that. It's got a screen on the back for checking your photographs and looking at all the bits of information, but it's not made to look like that. It's too heavy. And anyway, you've got something on the back. No, the real way to do it, to look professional, but it looks like you know what you're doing, is looking through it like that. Now, you notice I don't even close my left eye. I've been doing it for so long. Anyway, all the information is in there, like this. So as you turn all the buttons and wheels, etc., they change in there as well. So it's much easier if you know where the buttons are. You can do it with one hand, just change your f-stop, your shutter speed. It's so easy there. Your ISO is just one button, and you change that, you press that button and then turn the wheel. It's so easy. Anyway, let's go and have a quicker look at it. Oh, lenses. Firstly, lenses. This has got standard Sigma zoom 18 to 50 on it at the moment. One lens I would recommend is the 50mm 1.8. Now they make this for virtually all cameras. Nikon has a version of it. It's called the Nifty 50 on a Nikon. Don't know what it's called on a Canon, but anyway, it's light and it's super, super cheap. For a lens, it's about £90. And it is a very good lens and takes pictures in a low light. Great thing to have. This is the standard lens that will come with your camera. There is nothing wrong with it. It's just that it doesn't have that look, that snobby look. It's a very good lens to start with. I would not immediately go out and buy a different lens. Get to know your camera with the original lens it comes with. Again, it's a cheap lens, but it's very good quality. Of course, on your camera you can add lenses, whoa, like this one. This one's about, what does it cost, £2,000? They can go up to about £20,000, but I wish I had one of those. Well, here's a nice little lens to put in your pocket, £20,000. Here's another one. This one's a bit more. £70,000 or $85,000. Must be about the same in euro, but who's counting? So let's get on and have a closer look at the camera. So this is the camera we'll be using. It's the Canon 7D. Don't forget all cameras will do the same thing at equal levels of camera. So let's have a quick look around it. Very, very simple. It's got loads of buttons, and I'll be quite honest, I've been a photographer since I was 16 years old, and I don't know what all these buttons do. We might find out. Well, let's have a look at the most important wheel, I think, on the camera. It turns, I must say, stop saying, it's annoying me, it must be annoying you. Right, if we set it to the green square, what that means is, this camera is dirty. What it means is that we're now on fully automatic. All you have to do is press the button and the camera will do the rest. On CA, which is that one, it's creative automatic. Now, what that means is you can change things like the exposure, the focus, one or two things you can change. That you'll look in the instruction book, of course. Program, the camera will always set the exposure right and leaves you to choose where you want the focus to be. TV is the shutter speed, so you can set the shutter speed and the camera will set everything else. So you can, if you're photographing something that's moving fast that you want to stop, you can use TV to make the shutter speed a lot quicker. AV is in fact the exact reverse, whereas you can set the aperture and the camera will set the shutter speed. And now the aperture, ISO, shutter speed will be going into a different lesson, but basically the aperture affects mainly the depth of field, how much of the image is in focus. Now we go to manual. And manual means you are in total control. Now, that is where, no, it's not even where most of us work. I think where most photographers work is probably an AV, where we choose the aperture and the speed is chosen by the camera, unless we've got something special that we want to do. So I don't use M that often. Now, B means bulb. Let's get the camera in a better position. B means bulb. Now what that means is you can press the button, press the shutter button, and the shutter will stay open until you release the shutter button. Now that's quite easy if you want to do some little tricks at night, like seeing star trails or car headlamps. You can use that. Lots of movement. These three I have never, ever used, but they are three programs where you can stock all your settings that you've made, and you can go back to those settings. So you might have one setting for fast, one setting for very slow-moving subjects, one setting for, etc., etc. So you can use all the settings on the camera and save them in one of those. Well, that's the wheel. That's not too difficult. I mean, to start with, this probably just put
it's a hot shoe,
and on there goes a flash or a radio control where you can fire flashes off the camera. Very simple. So a quick look, lens just pops off by pressing that button. It's basically
and we take it off.
Now,
you notice I turned it to the right.
Remote control, which
that's why Nikon.
One or two other things that go
Canon
on there,
owners don't get on.
Things like high speed.
Nikon, you have to turn it
to the left. So that's here on the lens. You have the AF and MF autofocus, manual focus. You can switch that there. This one speaks for itself, of course. That's just the flash on off, or you can switch it off when you don't want it. Oh no, we've got a little button down here. Now what that does is close the aperture while you're looking through the camera so you can see your depth of field. We'll get into all that at a later date. Of course, in here we have memory card. This has got the big one. Now on top, here we have our flash synchronization on the camera. It's called a hot shoe, and on there you can put all sorts of things that will fire flashes that are not on the camera, etc. Here you've got a couple of flaps.
This one opens up, for example, as HDMI, there's the AV digital out, and there's a microphone jack. Here we have, under this one, I hate these things, under this one is the flash synchronization and the remote control, etc., if you want one. This button just shows me the pictures we've just done, or I've just done lately, and I can move in and look and change them by turning this wheel, which has another function I'll show you in a second. And then we can go back and either enlarge one, let's go in really close, look. So that's how close you can go in, and that way you can see if it's in focus. Very useful button. Now what about info? Turn that one off, and we go into info. It tells me the details of the exposure that I did. I never use one of that at all. It also gives me a histogram, and all the details. But as I say, I rarely use that one. This one is for picking out photographic styles, things like portraits, etc. You can do that. I have never used that one. I know that there is a way, and I don't know how to do it because I just came by accident. I picked up a horizontal line the other day playing with this. No idea how I did it. That's how complicated it all is. That gives me exactly what I'm setting now, and you'll see that if I move a wheel like this one, it will change. This is changing the f-stop. I can set it to change the shutter speed as well. This is the button for choosing video, if you want to, or live view, autofocus on or off, and those I've shown you already. This one allows you to scan. It's a sort of scan button, makes the picture go up and down, right to left after you've seen it, after you've done it. There we go. We've actually got a light there. So as I change that, it's upside down for you, I'm afraid. We can see that number change, which is the shutter speed. And if I turn this wheel on the back, it changes the aperture. So you see how quickly that's done while you're looking through the camera. ISO is there, just again this wheel will change the ISO, it tells you exactly what it is there. AF drive is whether you want the camera to go very fast or not. White balance is there. So that's it. Now one important thing is this wheel. That's how you adjust the camera for your eyesight. And an awful lot of people overlook that, which it does actually make an enormous difference. Well, other than that, it's pretty simple. As I say, there's not all of those controls you'll need. Right, now for the bit that seems to frighten everybody. Again, we'll have to switch it on. Right, and menu. Now, this is not as complicated as really it looks it, but there's an awful lot here that you will never use. The major thing, I think, on that front page, the only one I'll use is white balance, and I go into there and I choose the white balance I want if I haven't got it on automatic. Now, automatic isn't ideal, but it works. So we'll just set it like that. So I go down that list, but unfortunately, unless I had every camera, I can't show you exactly what does what. We just move from page to page, and as I'm set on manual, I get the whole, everything. Live show, it's got lots of things, but so much of it, once you read it, you'll realise you don't need it. You just really have to know where to go back and reset the camera back to its factory defaults. You cannot get in a mess with it, just be confident. Hi, well, that's the DSLR, lovely little thing. Now, it's easy to use, but everyone will be different. So the instruction book, don't forget the instruction book. It's crazy buying a Ferrari and driving in first gear. You've got to know what it will do. It will help you enormously. So
Here's to the next time. See you soon. Bye.